Focus Locus Games, and today we're just going to be doing some happy little game development, specifically some level design for my game Breezy. Now, let's just get started. I'll have them run all the assets across the screen you can use if you want to design some levels with me. Now, the first thing you want to do here is just duplicate your level scene, so we have a whole new scene to make our level in. Now, just cover my canvas, my scene, with a thin coat of grass and sand terrain. So I'm going to go ahead and use my keyboard shortcuts, Alt-Shift-L and Alt-Shift-T, to use my custom editor tools to create a new level file and create a new terrain file. Of course, if you don't have these editor tools, then you can get them set up with a tutorial. Now, for this level, I just want to have a little lake scene with a couple of islands in the middle. So you can hop on to either one of the islands and then hop over to the other side. So I'm just going to use my big 2-inch brush here and then turn the opacity up pretty high so we can lift the grass up very high, and then just turn the brush thickness all the way to the maximum so it can affect the whole map. And then we're just going to raise our little map up a couple of inches. Now, you can see I already covered my canvas with a thin coat of liquid water. So at this point, I want to raise my water up a little bit, not so it goes over the grass, but just so it's slightly under the grass. And now we're just going to make a little dent, a little lake in the center of my grass by holding Shift and just lowering the terrain. Now, I want to have 2 little islands in the middle of my lake. One of them will be made of grass, and it'll be nice and big, so if you want to try to land on there, then you can try that. But the other one will be made of sand, which is stickier and has more friction so you can land on it more easily, but it'll be a smaller island, so it's a bit more risky. And I want to let the player choose which island which they want to land on. Once I'm done making the grass island, I'm just going to go ahead and temporarily disable that grass terrain so I can go ahead and access the sand terrain over here. Now I'm just going to raise up a little bit of the sand and make a little island out of sand. Now that we've got our little islands, I'm just going to go ahead and move the golf ball a little bit closer to the lake so that the player can choose without having their ball thrust at one of the islands. And then I'm going to move the flag so it's at the center, a little bit away from the lake. Now, something important to do for Breezy is to go ahead and make the trajectories that the golf ball will be shot in. Now, you kind of just got to eyeball this step because there's no real analog to real life designing these forces. But I think these values should be pretty good. I'm going to basically make 2 identical hits, so the player will be shot up and a little bit forward so they can choose which one of the islands. And then they'll be shot up and a little bit forward again so they can redirect their way onto the flag. Now, before we add the finishing touches, it's always important to test the level a bit to see if the design is any good. So I'm just going to go ahead and test here, and it looks like the level works just fine. So now I just go ahead and add the foliage in the form of a few bushes that I got from this asset on the asset store. And that'll finish up our level. Thank you, happy level design, and God bless.